Good afternoon. So I finally made it to South Wales. This is going to be the first major location I'm at, which is Brombyl Reservoir. I've got to find a spot to pitch up camp, and I'm hoping there should be some stunning sunset and sunrise photography. Quite possibly, if it's a clear night, a bit of astro as well. So let's get to the reservoir. I'll show you around. I'll talk to you a bit more about this trip. There it is, Brombyl Reservoir. Now I believe it's blue because of the chemicals and algae in it, but not sure, not 100%, but looks absolutely beautiful. Now I did think about going down by the lake, but I need to go up. I need elevation, because if I'm going to get sunset and sunrise, that'll be obscured by these mountains. And doing this, I found out just how unfit I am. All my gear altogether is about 15, maybe 18 kilos. And I'm also having to carry winter gear as well, so let's add into it. It'd be a lot easier to do this in the summer and with just some buddies. Oh well. Let's go and find somewhere to pitch up. Let's find some of these views we're talking about. Well, after a significant hike, I think I've found a spot for the night, which will be right here between these trees. I've cleared out any major sticks or anything like that. Something I do want to point out though for the video before I set up: all this rubbish. There's loads of plastic bags, bottles, obviously left here by hikers or God knows what. They were here when I got here. Everything I brought with me will go back with me. Now, just over that way affords me the best view of the reservoir. The sun will be setting in about an hour, so I want to get set up and get ready for that sunset. I'll bring you back when I've got the tent up. Okay, so that's the tent set up for the night. Seems a really peaceful location. I can't see or hear anybody around. It's a nice peaceful spot under the tree here, which should provide some shelter, and if anybody does walk through, I'll hear them. Now, just down this way, This is my views for the day. Now, very shortly, I'm going to go and try and get a photograph of sunset overlooking the reservoir there. I'll have to get a bit of drone footage up as well. And then it'll be time to cook some tea. Well, I have to admit, I'm not really very hungry at the moment. And the worst thing is, I've left my coffee in the car. That's a bit of a disaster for the first camp out. But still, with a bit of luck, I should be in for a nice peaceful night. I should get some nice images in. I'll come back to you when I set up for the sunset there. The biggest problem with this location is that the sun's setting over there, the lake's down there, but a little bit obscured. I can't really see it very well. One of the best shots I've got is kind of this one, looking at those branches there with the lake just through it. Now I was zoomed in at 40mm to get that, so hopefully that will translate into a good image. Now, if I were on that ridge line over there, I'd probably get a good shot over the lake looking down, but that is a hell of a distance to walk around. It's not a straight line. I'd have to go what looks to be about a quarter of a mile that way, then a quarter of a mile back on myself, and it's at least another, you're talking about 3/4 of a mile altogether out my way. What I have got though, I'm kind of liking this. Maybe it's just me being quirky, I don't know, but I actually like this shot looking down the path here. I've just simply set my camera up in the middle of the path. There's nobody around, so I'm not disturbing anybody. Looking at the Port Talbot there with all the industry, but it's got the nature in front of the industry and the sunset behind that. And over in the distance, you can just make out sort of the Devonshire and Somerset. I think it's Devonshire in the distance. I've got some beautiful colour in the sky as well. Now, I'm loving these fir trees that I've got here. They're absolutely beautiful. What I've got on the path, if I turn you around and show you, I'm actually pointing the camera straight down here. As you can see, we've got this colour in the sky here. Got all the industry in the distance there. We've got this tree here, kind of a lone tree-esque sort of, well, lone tree. Got the fir trees here and the path leading off nicely into the sunset. Call me crazy, but I think that might be the best image I'm getting here. Now, sunrise, if we get one in the morning, is going to be over there. But I'm not sure there's an image to be had on that. If this one's any good, here it comes. Just come up. I was on the path down there before. I've just come up a little bit nearer the tent. I've seen this shot here. If I turn you around, kind of pointing the camera, I've got these lone trees once again in the frame of the image, got these firs in the image, that nice colour going on, and this nice path leading off through the image. Once again, this is probably a me thing, but I actually quite like that. And we do have that great view over there as well. There is some mist coming in off the sea, but I don't think that's going to give us too much grief. So all in all, I think that's going to be a good image. There's nothing special about it. I'm not doing any polarizers or ND filters or anything like that. Just taking the image and shooting for the highlights. Once again, I think that's going to transpire into a really nice shot. If it does, here it comes. Well, I'm somewhat starting to believe I'm cursed. I've just been moved on by some kind of forestry ranger person. Now I know they're cracking down on wild camping in both England and Wales. I didn't know they were cracking down on it that much. I had to pack my stuff up, hike back down and get in the car. I've just driven about 7 or 8 miles away from where I were. I'm at a services station at the moment, mostly because of the lighting and because of the phone signal. I'm not sure at the moment what to do. I don't want to go and try and pick. So I'm going to jump in here and stop myself rambling for what was a 7 or 8 minute ramble on the video. Now, I really don't seem to have much luck with these little camping trips, and it's now a couple of days later. I'm sat in my living room editing the videos on my laptop, and I do find myself thinking, what do I do about future camping trips? And how do I do these trips normally? Now, not so long ago, I'd use hotels and stay at like a Premier Inn or something like that. I think that's probably going to be the way forward in future. Now, I'm not saying camping trips aren't going to happen, but I think the further the distance away, the more likely it's going to be either a dedicated campsite or a hotel. Especially for England and Wales, where wild camping isn't exactly, it's not illegal, but it's a civil matter, and it can be made illegal. And I believe they are actually in some parts of the country trying to make it legal as well, especially the Lake District. Now, that does leave me struggling with certain spots. I mean, there's a few mountain camps that I want to do where I can actually get the view in the morning at sunrise. I am probably going to still do them, but I'm going to have to figure out a way of doing them that's going to be far easier than lugging all the stuff up there. As I say, this is a couple of days later. This is a couple of days later that we're at now. I've recovered from the trip. That bit of video you just saw, I was absolutely exhausted. I was in a lot of pain. I'd just driven for 5 hours to Wales. I'd been driving all day. I'd done some hiking. I'd hiked up to the campsite, and I had to hike all the way down from the campsite, and I was absolutely knackered. And to say I was a bit downbeat doesn't even begin to cover it. However, for future reference, I think
if I go to South Wales, well, when I go to South Wales again, I think I'm just going to go and stay at the Premier Inn. I'm going to take the advice from my friends Nick and Mark, just get a hotel, and at least you've got some comfort to look forward to when you've been hiking all day, and you're not going to get moved on from that. Now, in the later months, to avoid getting weathered out, if I go to South Wales in the summertime, I'll probably go camping. But I'm going to avoid camping in the winter in South Wales because of what happened last year. If you remember, in the video last year, we had a glorious day, and then suddenly by the evening, fog had descended and there was a storm coming in. It was weird, but these things do happen. Now I am going to try and get some other wild camps in, but I'm going to find some better locations. I think higher mountains and whatever. I'm also going to try and lighten my load a bit for doing that. I'm going to be taking the absolute bare minimum of equipment. I think in general for wild camping it's going to be a Scotland trip though. In Scotland you can pretty much pitch up anywhere and you're not going to get hassled. There's a lot of places in England that I'd like to visit, both sunset and sunrise. I might actually stick to car camping for that, or again, depending on the distance, hotels. If it's within about 50 miles of where I live and I end up getting moved on, I'm not too bothered about that. I can just get home. But if it's more than 100 miles or so, getting moved on at night means you've got to drive at night when you're already tired and you've already had a long day. I think that's probably going to be a hotel or a campsite job. I'm not giving up on what I do. I'm just going to have to plan it better and modify what I do. It's a shame this one was ruined. It's a shame it's ruined my trip as well. I was hiking down up that mountain with all my gear and down it in the same day. Left me in quite a lot of pain. Not just my legs, my back, this injury I've got under my ribs at the moment. And to be honest, it just ruined the whole trip and I ended up coming home. In future, I'm going to have to plan things like that much, much better. Moving forward, I don't know what's coming up over the next couple of months for content. My trip to Wales I was pretty much counting on it to have at least the next 2 months worth of content sorted to take us nicely into summer. There will be videos coming out. We'll get something out there. Maybe a couple of trips to the Lake District and whatever. But the more adventurous trips like this one, I think there's going to have to be some planning in that. And more importantly, I'm going to have to come up with some backup locations. If I do go wild camping again, I need a backup plan. That's the thing I didn't do this time. I didn't plan for the failure of the trip. I was just so blinded by the excitement of actually going, and I think that's a big lesson learnt. In fact, I've learnt a lot from the last few camps. Yeah, moving forward, things are going to be planned a lot better. I'm not sure what the next video is going to be, and I'm not sure where the next camp's going to be, but in the meantime, hopefully you did enjoy the content of this video that I did get, and I hope you'll stick with me and join me in the next video. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.